Why I would never get an LLC. So for those that have never seen me speak or whatever the case is on this subject, so I've kind of gone over a lot of reasons why I wouldn't. So today is actually I'm gonna actually use today to be a bit different to answer a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? Like just Q&A. But at a very high level, I can say that an LLC doesn't separate you from the business. Most people think that an LLC makes them separate from the business, and I can go as a million different things that I can say about it. But for starters, most people don't understand that an LLC is only allowed at the state level. You can't be taxed as one. An LLC doesn't pay taxes. Your tax, if you file your business taxes on a Schedule C, you're a sole proprietor. Establishing a 501c3, that's a nonprofit. That's two different things. What does separate you from the business? What does separate? That means you aren't responsible. The business is its own entity. The business is its own person. Whenever you are operating business, whenever you try to go get a loan or funding, you should be able to go get, all of those things without the need to use your personal social security number. Whenever you're using your social security number for your business, that means that there is no separation. The business should conduct business on its own. How would I start a business? Well, that's a very good question. I would start here. Most people just start and they just open the business and they have no plan at all, right? And to some that would seem like that's common sense, but I can honestly tell you, I've been helping businesses since 2017. Business planning is not common sense at all. And people don't understand how the business plan equates to success. The business plan actually teaches you, well, at least gives you all of the things that you should be thinking about in your business. Well, what happens is when people open a business, the first thing that they go do is they go right here. They go straight to register the business. That's at step 3. Step 2, you should have got the business its own identity, because whenever you went to the Secretary of State to open that business, you put all of your personal information. Hence, you're not going to be separate from the business. If I gave that business its own address, own phone number, own email, own domain, then when I went to register it at the Secretary of State, there's a clear distinction. And then the other part of that is, if we understood how business works, we would understand that whenever you run a business, right? Whenever you think of Walmart, you don't think of, the family that owns Walmart. You think of Walmart as its own person, right? Its own entity. Well, the term United States person, according to the IRS, is a citizen or resident. That's like me and you. A domestic partnership or domestic corporation. That means that if I can go purchase a house, so can a corporation. If I can go buy a car, so can a corporation. If I can go sue somebody, so can a corporation. If I can be sued, so can a corporation. Which means you should not have to put your social security number on anything that you do for that business. I have a balloon and event decor business and was under the impression that an LLC is needed. See, again, Ms. Elegantly Styled Eve, why would someone tell you to go get an LLC versus asking you, what is it that you want to do with that business? My question to you would be, what do you want to do over the next 3 to 5 years, right? Do you see that you passing this business on to your kids and things of that nature? Well, when you have an LLC, when you die, it dies. Do you want the business to live on after you? Do you want to build a legacy? In order for you to leave a legacy, you have to build a legacy. Right? And I think, and again, there's no fault to people own, LLCs are kind of like, the new pair of jeans, right? Everybody want them. Everybody got them. And my job is kind of just at least give people the truth and the facts of, if you want to start a business, start by asking yourself, do you want to be attached to the business, or do you want the business to be its own separate thing? And if you want the business to be its own separate thing, an LLC ain't the way to go. And here's a fun fact for most people that you probably didn't even ask. The LLC only started in 1977 as an agreement between the Hamilton All brothers and a company in Panama. It's an agreement. It's a contractual agreement between two people, which is the way to go. Again, it goes back to, how do you want business to be viewed? Do you want people to view you and your business as one entity, or do you want the business to be its own thing and you be your own person? If that is the case, there's only one structure. It's a C corporation. That's it. Because a corporation is a person. It's not $50 million. It's not 80,000 employees. It's literally a person. You have another person open business to conduct business on your behalf. Nothing more, nothing less, right? Where was I going with this? So if you kind of go to the IRS's website, it's pretty clear, right? The most common forms of businesses are sole proprietorships, partnerships, corporation. The LLC is only allowed at the state level. Yes, C Corp. Most people, and you have to understand, like, so again, I want to give context to this conversation, right? The context is most people, that's what they hear. Well, as soon as I go get a business, open up a, C Corp. Yes, it can be passed to your family. Sure can. 100%. Yes, you need an EIN. Who said that? Most single member LLCs have an EIN and should not have one. And I think that's the biggest misconception as well. So for those that don't know, an EIN stands for Employer Identification Number. An employer has employees, et cetera, et cetera. So if you've never had anyone explain that to you, I can do it right now. So number one, if you own a business, do you have employees? So if you don't have employees, one must ask themselves, why do I have an EIN number, right? And an EIN, again, stands for Employer Identification Number. An employer has employees. An employee is somebody that you pay, and every time they get paid, they have taxes taken out of their check. If that's not you, you couldn't answer yes to any of the questions. Second question, do you operate your business as a corporation or a partnership? They said, Denny, most times we bring they to a lot of conversations, and interestingly enough, the people who told you that you needed one weren't the people who issued you one. The Internal Revenue Service is the ones who issue your EIN number. The people that told you that are not responsible to make sure that you are, again, state class. The state doesn't issue EINs. The bank won't give your business a bank account without one. How do you get around it? That's not true either. The bank will give your business a bank account if you tell them that you have a DBA. See, the bank has guidelines. The bank says, hey, this guideline requires us to have an account open. But see, the problem is most people don't want the bank statement to read John Doe doing business as ABC Lemonade. You see what I'm saying? So whenever the LLC came into play, because owners of LLCs are called members, typically the bank, for protection, in their space, is saying that I need to have an EIN on file for this account, right? The bank is not responsible to make sure that you are in compliance with the Internal Revenue Service. None of the questions that I'm going to ask is going to say anything bank related, because this is a government issue. This is not a banking issue. And I think that's the biggest. The bank goes down a checklist. Do you have this? Do you have that? That's it. And chances are the people that you're speaking to open a bank account are employees. They don't even know what it means to run a business anyway. They're only following the little checklist. Which corp has more on voting rights for shareholders? There's no such thing. Which corporation has more benefits on voting rights? What I want people to understand is when you first open a business, you are what's called a private business. That means that nobody on earth can purchase stock in your company. As a privately owned corporation, a privately held corporation, the rules and voting rights, there is no voting rights. There is no, let's have board meetings and stuff like that, because you're a private entity. You can do what you want. You can have a unanimous decision form filled out. That means that you are the only person that makes the decisions. Whenever you go public, that means that people in the public eye can vote. Can purchase stock in your company. Now you have to go by the guidelines, because now you are allowing people to invest their own money into your company. So you have to operate responsibly. And that means that you, as a CEO, or whatever the case is, don't have the final say. You have to get approval from a board, because people, as CEOs, if you will, or whoever you want to, whatever you want to call yourself, we have a tendency to have good habits and bad habits. So with the Securities Exchange Commission, which is the SEC, whenever they approve you to be able to go public, that means that you have to follow certain guidelines, because the SEC is holding you accountable to make sure that you're not playing with people's money. It's one thing for you to mess over your money. It's another thing to mess over the public's money. That's why every company has to go through the SEC before they go public. You're not public when you open your company. So all of those rules and guidelines that don't even pertain to you, because it's just you. Do you file any of the following tax returns? Employment, excise or alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. If you don't file any of these taxes, again, you don't need an EIN. Do you withhold taxes on income other than wages paid to a non-resident alien? If you can't answer yes to that, etc., etc. Does your LLC offer a KEO plan? A KEO plan is nothing more than a retirement plan or a pension plan. And lastly, if your LLC is not involved in a trust, an estate, a real estate, mortgage, investment, conduit, a nonprofit organization, a farmers co-op, or a plan administrator, ain't happen, won't happen. Can't stop, won't stop. That's how they say that. Can you have a C Corp and a nonprofit? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. You can have this little bad boy right here. I call this the legacy builder starter package. If you want to build a legacy, open up all these companies. All these companies right here on paper opened up will change your life. But in order for this to happen, in order for this to work, everything that you thought you knew about business has to be thrown out the window. Thank you. It has to be thrown out the window, because this takes a certain discipline and this takes a certain mindset to understand how does this work? How does this benefit me? What can I get out of that? And people that don't understand business, definitely don't understand structure, couldn't even tell you. That's because, you have the top 5% of people in the world, and then you have everybody else. The reason why the top 5% remain at the top 5 is because they don't do what everybody else do. The majority of everybody is getting on social media and telling you, man, let me show you how I can build your credit. Let me go ahead and show you to get this business. Get an LLC. Everybody gonna tell you that everybody got an LLC and everybody winning. That don't make sense. That's because people got a small piece of information and ran with it. So you saying unlearn to learn all day long, twice on Sunday, twice today. Everything that you thought. Think about it this way, right? Let's be very clear. The majority of business owners today were employees and then automatically a business owner. So you went from just at the bottom of the food chain all the way to the top of the food chain. Who taught you? Who taught you how to do business? See, what you did was you took your craft, you took what you thought you were passionate about or your hobby, and you said, let me try to figure out how I can make money. So when you first started, I know how it happens. When it first started, you tried to figure out how can people pay you. So then you went saying, let me go ahead and, go ahead and get Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Still, you didn't even think that how that didn't even help you. You were trying to do every single thing, and what you were doing, you were learning as you go. Imagine we never drove a car a day in our life, and we got on a major freeway and said we're gonna learn how to drive. That's exactly what we do when we run our business, and we don't have all of the tools necessary. It's like we got in the car, we said, you know what? Before I drive, let me put this blindfold on. So you put the blindfold on, and you're yelling out the window, "Hey, I'm in business, y'all. I'm driving." Run dead smack into the tree. And then you say, well, why did I run into the tree? Well, obvious, because I had a blindfold on. That's what you said. But no, you ran into the tree because you didn't have any directions. Right? And then we always, categorize business as a black business or a white business, a Chinese business, and all that. Imagine, how do people who are unfortunately blind live in life with everything that they do dependent upon their senses, not what they can see? You have some of the most extraordinary people that are blind that make great decisions because they use their brain, their hearing, their taste, their touch, their smell, all of the other senses to be able to help them live in life. And they don't even see color. They don't see anything other than, they don't see anything. And so it's just, I'm not going to get on a soapbox, but I'm just saying, as business owners, who taught you? And then when you do come across new information, what do you do with it? Do you go validate to see if it's true? Do you just run with it? I would like to believe people just run with the LLC. Why the REIT if you're not into that business? Very good question. Whatever business that you're into, does your business rent real estate? Does your business have an office? It doesn't matter what type of business, it has to have a business address. Okay, who you're renting the space from? Here we go. That light bulb about to go off in just a second. who you're renting the space from, or who you're purchasing it from. You're purchasing it from yourself. All right. Great. Okay. But let me tell you what yourself can't do. Yourself can't get no benefits from that. See, whenever you rent space from a property management company that is structured as a real estate investment trust, that real estate investment trust must pay 90% of all of its earnings back to the majority shareholder. Well, if your majority shareholder sits in a state, quote unquote, like Wyoming, and it's a holding company, well, now you have just turned your expense into income. You didn't write anything off. You just paid a bill, and then you just got it back tax free. Makes sense? I'm saying it's perspective. It is getting out of our way, right? It is taking all of the things that we don't know, and or better yet, it's about allowing ourselves to be open-minded enough to see that there is another way that you can get out of this particular predicament. And let me preface that by saying the world isn't full of people who are just knocking on people's doors and saying, let me go ahead and give you this legacy. Like, no one is coming to save you, right? So if you're going to where you think you need to go, like financial institutions to kind of get money to kind of help get you out of this position, and you keep being told no, do you stop at the no? Or do you create the opportunity? There's a difference between people who let life happen and other people who make life happen. So if you're being told no, ask yourself, why are you being told no? Well, my credit is always bad. Well, your credit is going to always have an issue. If you don't change your behaviors, that's number one. If you don't change your spending habits, you're going to always have credit issues. Number two, if you think that credit is the only way that you can get out of it, then but doesn't home-based businesses have its own benefits? Not at all. Denny, let me show you something, Denny. Hold on. Wait, don't go nowhere. Let me pull this up for you. Wait, everybody, we're going to use Denny has been very participatory this morning. So what I'm going to do is ask Denny to play along with me. We're going to go through a scenario. Out of curiosity, what is the most prestigious credit card do you think that you can get? No, credit card, not a loan from the bank. I'm talking about credit card. What do you think is the most prestigious? If you got this one credit card, you probably made it in life. And I'm sure that could be, everybody has an opinion about that, but would you say that if your business, wait, hang tight. I'm gonna probably go pull it up. I'm gonna call the corporate division tomorrow so that way I can have them send me their checklist. That way it'll validate what I'm saying. I'm using American Express, but you know what? I'm gonna call Chase tomorrow. I'll call my personal banker and tell them to send it to me. So listen, American Express is a pretty prestigious card. So a lot of times when business owners get into business, they believe that, man, if I can get American Express, I can make it happen. And then they don't realize that in order for them to get a business credit card for their American Express pulls their Experian credit report. And you have business owners that say, well, I got an American Express business card. My name not on it. Nah, it don't matter that your name is on it. You're still responsible for it. No, that's not true. It don't show up on my credit report. Okay. Keep holding on to that theory. So whenever I go up to the American Express business credit card, right, I'm going to go right here where it says rates and terms. So when we pull up the rates and terms, and we're going to read it together. It says, let me go ahead and make this right here. Make sure I can get it all on the screen. Yeah. There we go. It says, by submitting this application, you as an individual and the authorizing officer of the company, A, are requesting us to open an account in the name of the company. B, are requesting that we issue cards as you direct. C, are agreeing to be jointly and severely liable with the company for all charges to the account. Now, you think that you've been busting your butt this whole time, making sure that your credit score is in perfect condition. And you think that because you got an American Express business card, that you just rose to the top. No, you just have a bigger hamster wheel like everybody else. That hamster wheel that we get on every day and we just keep running and running and running. That sounds like a personal guarantee to me. I mean, thank you, Wes. That's exactly what it says. But now, what's interesting is, again, and I'm going back to the initial question about your home address. See, whenever you have a corporate card, that means a corporation is seen as another person. So if I have a corporate card and that's another person, then I shouldn't have to give my personal information. So what are the qualifications to get a corporate card? Well, when we look at the qualifications of a corporate card, it pretty much says you need to give, when it talks about company information, it says, this is the information about your business, where you are registered and operate from. The first thing that it says, now it's interesting. The first thing that it says, the legal name of the business should match your financial statements and the Secretary of State. Ooh, seems like a no-brainer. But then it also says your tax ID number, the one that's provided to you by the IRS, etc. A corporate phone number. So number one, they automatically want your business to have a separate phone number than your personal cell phone number. Corporate website. Now here's the thing. There's a lot of people that do business and say, well, I got a business and I sell this. I don't need a website. That's fine. You'll never get an American Express corporate card because the qualification is to have a website. Whether it's functional or not, you need to have a corporate website, not Facebook, not Shopify, not none of that stuff. You need a corporate website because that's the qualification. But look what it also says. It says business address must be a physical street address, not your P.O. box. So the thing of it is, when people say, well, I have a home-based business. Fair. But that home-based business is not a business street address. That's your address. If it was a business address, then that home would have been in the business's name. But because that home is not in the business's name, it is in your personal name. That is a personal address. Therefore, it ceases to be a business address. But then when it asks about, remember, authorized officer, hold tight. Now, when it asks for the authorized officer information, it only asks for the first name and the last name and the date of birth. It don't ask for a social security number. It don't ask for a social security number because we're not applying for a card that has to do with the person. No, Dion Shields. Your registered agent address is an address of somebody who can collect mail on your behalf. That's not a business address. Business address, it says, hold on. This is information about your business, where you are registered and where you operate from. You don't operate from the registered agent's address. Now, here's the most interesting part about this entire conversation. Well, let me make this one point that I'm going to say there. It also says business email address. You got a lot of business on. Imagine you sending an email to Walmart corporate office and it said walmart@gmail.com. Would you believe that that's a legitimate Walmart? So what they're asking for is your business email address, not your personal email. Personal emails ending at Gmail. The same scrutiny that we would put on other businesses is the same scrutiny that businesses are putting on you when you call yourself a business. Now, what's interesting about this is if our goal is to be successful, and some of us think that if we got an American Express card, we've reached success. Now, here is the American Express corporate card qualifications. So the answer to some of your problems should be real easy. Just get all of this stuff. I can't be told no more. But even when we read it on paper, it still seems like it's far-fetched. Hence why when I help people set up companies in Wyoming, I also tell them, hey, I can get you a commercial lease. Because it's the commercial lease that's going to establish residency. Again, my point is, if your job is to say, man, I want to go and get funded. I want to go get a line of credit. Well, American Express is just one example, but they're telling you, hey, get all of these things on this checklist and I'll get you that card. And yet everybody and their mama going to say, well, I don't need a website. Well, you don't need that card either. Because in order to get the card, you got to have the website. Even if you didn't want to do anything, you know what I'm saying? You just have to make sure that you abide by that. Any questions about that so far? Because, you know, again, one of the most asked questions that I get is how can I get funding? But if I tell you how to get funding, in your mind, you're going to try to work a way around how to get funding. Come on, man. Like, you know, everybody got a strategy. Everybody got a scheme. Everybody know it all. And I'm just saying we overcomplicate it, and we really do. Thank you, Wes. I appreciate it. So here's the thought process, right? Funding isn't hard. Funding is not hard. That is an untrue statement. Funding is hard for people who don't have their business set up properly. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I would agree. But funding is not hard if you have all of the pieces to the puzzle in place. 2 years. Wes, it's like any bank. When it's time to give you a loan, banks want you to be in the business for at least 2 years. Now, there are some banks that will allow you to get funding, but again, as a trade-off. For instance, let me go ahead and pull this up. 1 second. me go ahead and get this email up, and I'm gonna show you. We're gonna go down the whole list. Watch. 1 second. We're gonna go down the list, and we're gonna go down the lenders list. A lender sent me an email because we've been working with this lender, so they updated their requirements, and I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. Now this is from a CDFI lender. Here we go. Everybody gotta. Now this is the lender's requirements. Check it. See if I can make this a little bigger. Put on the screen. All right, here we go. Let's go here. All right. The lender says quick turnaround for case files. Additional information or documents may be required depending upon ID verification and UCC search and credit report. Now pay attention. UCC search. They already telling you that they're going to check to see if you got any UCCs. The Uniform Commercial Code, that means that whenever you go ahead and get some sort of equipment loan or finance loan, the person who you go get the loan from has a right to file a UCC lien against your company to let other companies know that you already have a deal with them. Nothing more, nothing less. Are UCCs bad? No, it's a means of doing business. If you're trying to get $100,000 from a bank, but you have a $40,000 lien, then chances are the bank will say either go pay that lien off, or instead of me giving you $100,000, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 60 because we're gonna use the other 40 to pay that off. It's pretty straightforward, right? So now, here's what lenders are asking for, right? Now, mind you, this lender is a CDFI lender, which means, now I have to give you all some education on this, right? Because I want y'all to follow the context. A community development financial institutions, CDFI, lender are typically nonprofit organizations or organizations geared towards helping to build the community. Well, in order for the community to be developed, that means you have to have tax dollars in that community. I'm coming back forward. So whenever you have a CDFI lender and the lender is saying, hey, we want to go ahead and help this community build up, what they're looking for is more businesses to come to that community, because when a business is in that community, a business has to pay sales tax. Those sales tax dollars stay in the community, and if the community had more sales tax dollars from businesses, then the community can develop more sound roads and hospitals and police department, fire department, and all of that good stuff. You see what I'm saying? So because this CDFI lender knows that they're dealing with the underprivileged community or whatever the case is, then some of the requirements are different. Meaning, you can go to this CDFI lender with a 575 credit score and go get up to $200,000. Chase won't even give you that. But because this CDFI lender is letting you get approved for up to $200,000 with a 575 credit score, then that means they're going to want an arm and a leg. They're going to want you to prove that you're a business. So here it goes. They want your application, and they want you to connect your bank account to Plaid for faster processing of bank statements, right? So whenever they're at, hey, Rod, you and I gotta have a conversation, Rod. Whenever a bank asks you to connect your bank account to a software system, chances are that bank is used to seeing bank statements that are not necessarily legitimate. So to bypass anybody from submitting, bank statements, they want you to connect to their software. So if you don't connect to their software, they can still process it, but it might go into a manual processing, which will take a little longer. And then they want your taxes, they want your articles, your business identification, your business EIN, birth certificate, passport, all that good stuff, right? But now, here's all the other questions that it asks. When and why did you open the business? That answer should be in your business plan. What is it that you sell or what services you provide? That should be in your business plan. Who are your typical customers? Business plan. How do they hear about you? And that's a magic question. How do your customers hear about you? Oh, word of mouth. Go stand outside. I want everybody to go stand outside right now. Go yell and let me see if I can hear you. I can't. No matter how loud you yell, I'll never hear you. Word of mouth don't travel as fast as the internet. How will this loan help you? What will you be using the funds for? There's so many people that come to me saying, I need a loan. What you need it for? I don't know. I need to pay payroll. A bank is not going to give you money to pay payroll. That's an expense. Think about it. If I give you $50,000 and you spent $50,000 on payroll, how you going to pay me back? I'm going to use it on marketing. Well, now that can potentially give you a return on your investment. I'm going to go buy new equipment. What, you going to go buy a new desk? Or you going to go buy something that makes money? See, because you're going to buy a new desk ain't going to get you no money. You're going to buy a new truck. You're going to buy equipment, more equipment to have more customers come in. See the difference? Now, the next question it asks, how much is your home rent and your business rent? Now, here's how interesting that becomes. Yep, you got to be very specific. Thank you, Rod. Look, how much is your home rent and your business rent? If you just put one rent there, you see how that changes the narrative of the story? You see how that changes? It changes. Look what else it asks. Here are the reasons that they're gonna decline you. Now, this should be golden information. Golden information. As long as you don't have one of these things, you won't be declined. Insufficient cash flow. You say that you have a business. You say that you can afford to pay $1,000 back to me. But when I look at your business bank statements, you don't even have $1,000 going in. How you gonna pay me back? You have over $3,000 in past due debt. They didn't say you couldn't have debt. They just wanted to make sure that all of the debt that you have, just don't let it be past due. Why? Because that speaks to your ability to repay them. Missed mortgage payments, bankruptcy, or foreclosures in the last 12 months. Any current loans in default or active liens against the people. Frozen credit report. You know how, a lot of credit gurus tell you, man, go freeze your LexisNexis and all that good stuff. When people freeze their credit reports, you would think that the majority of them are freezing it because of identity theft. But financial institutions are not stupid. People freeze their credit reports because they don't want nobody to see them. So if the bank is saying, if you don't want me to see it, what you got to hide? Excessive negative daily balances. Again, how you gonna run a business but you're always negative in your bank account? Inability to provide additional documents. The business, catch this, yo. This is American Express said corporate website. Look what the bank said. Business doesn't have a digital footprint. No website, no social media, no physical location. You presented to me that you got this grand old business, but when I go search that business, I can't even find it on the internet. We Google everything. Hell, we get sick and go ask Dr. Google. So the same things that we go use Google for, it's the same thing the bank go and see. Are you an active business? Qualifications. Business must be at least 6 months in operations. Legal status. You see what I'm saying? Now, if this is the qualifications to get money, these are the reasons to get declined. Isn't the goal to make your business, at least on paper, meet the qualifications? So no, funding isn't hard. It's just that we bring a lot of baggage to the funding table. I'm being real. That's real. So stop listening to all of these people telling you what they can do for you. And I'm just being honest. Like this year, man, listen, in my years of helping people, I've helped people get millions of dollars. But this past year has probably been one of my worst years of helping people get money. And you got to understand the context of a lender. So the lender says, Dewayne, you helping a lot of business owners. Absolutely. Any of them qualified? Hell, we're going to make them qualified, right? Cool. We submit bank statements. We submit, taxes, bank statements. We give them the financial statements, personal financial statements, business plans. We give them the whole 9 yards, clean file. Well, what happens is when the bank starts to go now to do the background and all that stuff on the people, well, hell, they got too much baggage. So if I submit 10 applications and 8 of them got baggage, one must say, well, damn, Dewayne, you sure you got qualified people? And a lot of people, thank you, Rod. A lot of people don't even understand the lending process. Think about this, yo. If I ask any one of y'all right now for $100,000, you know how much hell y'all gonna, boy, listen, I'm gonna have to give y'all a kidney. I'm gonna have to let y'all know, my kid's social security number. Y'all gonna want to come to my house. Y'all gonna want to knock on the door to see if I'm there. Y'all damn, they're gonna ask me, let me see the lease. You gonna want to know the make and model of my car. And then here's the crazy part. Y'all know how we do. You know when you let people borrow money and then you see those people on social media having a good old time. The first thing that come in your mind, well, damn, well, where's my money? You know how we do. Y'all know how we do. But y'all think a bank not supposed to do that? Y'all do the same thing. Y'all do the exact same thing. And what I am saying is, if you want somebody to, hold on, this is gonna be tough. If you want somebody to treat you differently, present them somebody different than what you normally been presenting to the people. It ain't hard. If you want your business to be successful in the lending and the credit and all that good space, present a successful business. And here's the crazy part. You know, whenever you try to go get funding, you only like submit paperwork, right? Like anything that you want, if you want to go buy a house, it's paperwork. If you want, like, it's just paperwork. We can't get the paperwork in order. And then we don't understand how these dots connect. Watch. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how these dots connect. This is going to bless you, some of y'all. We can all attest when we first opened our business, we went straight to the Secretary of State and the IRS. We got an EIN number and opened our business. And we can all, if we're honest with ourselves, we can all say that we gave them our home address. Is that a true statement? We gave them our personal information. Is that a true statement? Yes or no? So look, I'm giving y'all the chronological order. We went open the business. We gave them our personal information. And this is what we did. Watch. We went straight to the money. How can I go get credit? How can I go get a loan? And then we start to ask ourselves, well, why am I being told no? Because you went straight to open the business. You put all your information. So then when they trying to verify the business information, it don't match. It don't match. So now there's a spider web of information. A spider web. You got, yes, gave personal info, but wanting a better way to present my business. Easy. So, and I'm going to make it real plain. Let's say nobody opened a business today. Nobody has a business. Nobody. You ain't never in your life had a business. And today is the day that you want to open it. Where do I start? I'm going to show you. Change your life. Number one, you want to make sure that you have a plan. Why? You ready? Question number one, business lending. The bank is going to ask you, when and why did you when and why did you decide to open a business? We have to place that on. How are we going to tell them that? We have to think about that. What services and things we sell, like all of these questions, that has to be answered. Come on, Rod. Damn, Rod. That's real, right? So, gotta have a plan. Now, if we already know that we want our business to be separate from us, meaning that when people see our business, we want them to see our business. We don't want them to see us and our personal baggage. Then automatically, we got to make sure that business has its own email address, phone number, and address. Why? Because this is the information we want the public to see. So whenever we go register the business at step 3, now we're putting all of the business information into a public database. So now we connected, we made a connection between our business and what the public knows about our business. Now, how do we want the word to get out about us? How do we want the world to know that we exist? Okay, hold on. American Express says, show me that you have all of this, but also show me you have, hold on, let me pull it up, a corporate website. Okay, step 4, go get us a brand, a logo, a website. Makes sense? So now, when we got our website that the public can see, all of the information about us on our website matches the Secretary of State and the IRS, and then that information matches what we opened. Well, now look, we're connecting the dots. So then when we go to get business credit, now they can say, oh, we can verify the information. Here you go. Now, here's where it gets good. The first thing American Express says, it should match your financial statements. Stop. Financial statements consist of your profit and loss from the business and your balance sheet. The only way that you can get those two is if you have an accounting system in place, bookkeeping system in place. Phase 6, bookkeeping. Set up a QuickBooks account. Connect your business bank account to QuickBooks. Let your charges, do its thing. Print out a report. Simple. Because when you set up the QuickBooks account, you're going to set up the QuickBooks account in the name that matches the Secretary of State. So when you print the report, there you go. Then register with sam.gov, the Better Business Bureau. Why? Because public information. You want to connect your business to as many public databases that you can in the world. But here's what's going to happen. When sam.gov verify your information, you know what they're going to verify? What's that Dun & Bradstreet? You know what Dun & Bradstreet is going to verify? What's that the Secretary of State? If all of that information matches, then there you go. But see, sam.gov also have to give you what's called a CAGE code. CAGE. That's how they pay you. They can only pay you when you have an address that's not associated with any other businesses. Therefore, message. And then you want to set up your business with protection, insurance, trademark applications, and a trust. That's if you want to do business the right way, that's how you do it. It's not, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, your life will change. How do they view your financials if everything is new? You have to be in business for 2 years. Every bank in business, every lender, 2 years is that's when you can start running. A baby can't run at 0. Baby can't run at 1. Baby can barely speak at 1. But see, at 2 years, a newborn baby, they can do a little more. That's your entry level when you're talking about doing business the right way. So now, if I say, most people be like, well, Dewayne, why would I open up all these companies? You see, you're thinking about today. You're thinking about how does this benefit you today? And I'm thinking 2 and 3 years down the road. Man, that's take too much time. That's the problem. You want your life to be great in a microwave. And I am telling you, all food tastes better when you cook it low and slow. When you put stuff in the microwave, it just don't hit the same. It don't give you that same comfort. You know what I mean? That's how we treat our business. 30 seconds. Ding! Ready to go. It don't work like that. Because in the world of finance, if you're really thinking about it, right? The reason why they ask for 2 years of data, because typically they can get 3 years of information. If you don't believe me, check it out. Why is it that you have 3 credit reports? Because in the rule of financial modeling, you need to find an average. Low, medium, high. Put them all together, it should give you an average. So when a financial institution is asking you for 2 years of tax returns, what they're doing is getting 3 years of data. Why? You got last year, the year before, but then you got your current year. So if they take all 3 years and get an average, then they can see this is where you are. Hence 3 credit scores. Message. Don't let nobody sell y'all a bag of uncooked chicken. This is just real. We overcomplicate it because we don't understand it, but if we simplify it, it becomes easy. Now, let me show you why not ask for 3 years of bank statements versus tax return. Well, right. Okay. You would think logically that would work. But the chances of them getting a business that has the same bank account over 3 years is almost impossible. So what the financial institutions say, well, at least exactly. But see, tax returns is a byproduct of what you did the year before. And you would agree with that, right? So when I do my business from January to December, the tax returns that I give, all right, so there you go. So if I look at the tax returns, that should give me information. But we all know what happens in the course of a year, in the course of 2 years, hell, let alone 3 years. What's the term? Life be lifing. That's the problem. So you got businesses that may be converting. Now catch this. If I convert my business, even though that's what all the money is, even when I convert my business, whenever you become a corporation, you got to get a new bank account. So it doesn't necessarily show a cohesive history, if that makes sense. Your financial statements should be representative of the bank balance, because your financial statements should come from a software like QuickBooks. QuickBooks connects to the bank account. So in their mind, they're getting the information out of your financial statements. The discrepancy or the point of contention is your bank statements. I mean, your financial statements show that you did, $50,000, you had $10,000 in profit, but your tax return don't show that. See where I'm going? What they're doing is trying to find the common thread, the commonality. So from the tax side, they can look at the business from a holistic perspective. But when they ask for those financial statements, they're not looking at the financial statements for the current year. They're just trying to see, does it match the trend of what you presented on your tax returns? If that makes sense. Because in their mind, if you send me your financial statements, then that we know that can only come from bank statements. I hope that helped. But now, let me say this. There's a trade-off. What is the trade-off? Whenever, no, okay, Rod, great question. Okay, not great. So am I wrong? Just because I don't want to pay taxes doesn't mean that I'm not profitable. Well, you have to understand. Look at it this way, and I'm going to pull it up. Hold on. Rod, I don't know where you got them questions from, but I love them. All right. So let's just take the old infamous Schedule C for a second. I'm not going to talk about the Schedule C. I normally talk about it. Let's just go down to the income and expenses. So your business does $200,000 a year, whatever it is that it do. And then you have expenses. Now, what the bank is simply saying is this. If you don't want to pay taxes, that's on you, as you see, right? But what the bank is simply saying is, I have to be able to fund on the money that's left. So if your loan payment is $1,000 a month, then that means that at least for your profit, you should have at least $12,000, because all I care about, I don't care if you owe the IRS, I don't care if you owe your mortgage, I don't care who you owe. When I give you this money, I need you to be able to afford to pay me. So in order for me to know that you can pay me, I have to see that you have the money. The bank don't care about how much sales you had. The bank don't care about what your expenses. The bank only care about line 31, net profit or loss. Because remember, the bank's job is not to care about the tax side. You see that correlation? The correlation is, we think because the bank said we need an EIN, that the IRS says it's cool. No, the IRS already told you you're going to need an EIN if you answer yes to them questions. So what the bank is saying, I don't care who you owe. I just need to know that you have enough money to pay me. So now, hence why when I talk about corporations can retain earnings. That means they can put the money in a savings account, because that is going to show up on their balance sheet. So while you can show that you don't owe the IRS right here, all of your profits should be in a place where they can see it on your balance sheet, retained earnings. And the IRS lets a business keep up to $250,000 a year, tax exempt. Coach Keith, Rod is a client. Rod know what it is. Rod does what you do, I think, sometimes. You know how y'all ask the questions that people want to, you know what I'm saying? So I think Rod is on the same page. I need more info because I have an LLC. I'm on break at work, can't stay long. Miss Patricia, I would love to just stop and just tell you, but yeah, it's a lot of information. It's too much to go over in 3 minutes. If you would like, you can book a consultation. I'm also on here Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I came on today, so somebody, in case y'all want to know why I'm on here on a Sunday, I came on last Sunday because why? People work at some of the times that I'm on, but there's a couple things. This is probably a good time where I introduce myself. For those that don't know me, my name is Dewayne Williams. I sit in the CEO chair of a company called Mac Enterprise Consulting, which you'll see on the screen. Mac Enterprise Consulting is a full-service business consulting firm where I teach people and I educate people on how to do business the right way. There are a lot of things that I can help you do, but more important is about the education. And right now, I do a members-only class. So I have a membership for $9.99 a month. And all of my members, what they do is they get access to a free training once a month, where we go at 7 p.m. every second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. They get access to a free training where we actually dig deep. Tomorrow's class is strictly on automation, how to run your business, and let automation help you, right? How you can automate certain things. That's tomorrow's class. I mean, Tuesday's class, I apologize. And members also get access to an ebook. They also get access to funding resources, newsletters, blogs, and the community of other business owners, right? Well, we have this upcoming class this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Also, there are a lot of times where I tell people, I don't care who you are, how long you've been in business. I put together a self-paced, call it a master class, but it's basically a self-paced class where you get a ton of stuff. I have 4 1.5 to 2 hour virtual classes, right? That I've pre-recorded. You can take it self-paced at your own time. You're gonna always have access to it. But the first class addresses the significance of a business plan. We've already seen how important it is. The second class talks about LLCs and all the structures. The third class teaches people how to get business credit. The fourth class teaches people how to get business funding. Each class is, like I said, is about an hour and a half long. In addition to that, I give people a lot of resources. Like there's an ebook on how to build your business. It talks about all of this that I just showed here, which is the journey to success. It teaches you every step. The other ebook is not only how to build your business credit in less than 90 days, but it gives you a list of all of the creditors that will give you business credit. The last class, the last ebook, I apologize, is a list of every business lender in every state that will give your business money. This entire class, like I said, is self-paced. That means you can take it as you wish, right? In fact, I'm going to show you how it would look on your side. 1 second. Yes, you sure can change it. I help people convert their LLCs to corporations. So let me show you what you would see on when you purchase the class for $499. A business degree will cost you $10,000 a year. $499. School will never teach you what I'm gonna teach you in this, but this is what you would see when you log onto your class. You're gonna see that you have part 1. Like I said, everything about the business plan. You have the video and the executive summary worksheet. Everything about structures and a worksheet, as well as all of these steps. So it's basically like a 34-step self-paced class. This will teach. Not one university is going to teach you this. $499, change your life forever. But I would say this just because I'm just giving you all my experience. I can speak to 1,000 people about this class and only 2 people to purchase it. But then the other 998 is going to say, how do I get funding? It's just the nature of the world that we live in, y'all. We live in a world where everybody wants something but don't want to be, it is what it is. I do hope that people purchase the class. I think it's an amazing investment. But again, 80-20. Need money to make money. Fair. All fair statements. My only thing is, what if I have questions once I purchase? I'm definitely in a different state. You can always ask questions. I have, if you're a member, members always, I'm going to go over here. I have a member portal here where you have access to answer. I don't know why I'm not logged in, but you can always ask questions via email, chat, whatever the case is. If you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Especially if you purchase a class and you have questions in the class, I'll be more than happy to answer them. That's easy. We make ourselves available for that, because that means that you're learning, you're seeking to understand. I definitely do that all day long. Now, for people who just asking questions and they don't no, I'm gonna tell you go schedule a consultation. But no, if you members get access to ask all the questions that they want, it's a very welcoming community. I have a team of people that monitors the portal to answer any questions. Absolutely. But I also have a lot of people, now you have to understand, you got to look at the other side of that, right? I also have a lot of people that they don't want to schedule a consultation because they feel that they don't feel that it's worth paying to speak to somebody. So they say, there's no doctor's office that you can call and sit on the phone with a doctor. You can call a doctor anytime that you want. You're going to speak to the nurse, you're going to speak to an agent, they're going to tell you, schedule an appointment. But if you purchase this course, 100%, and you have questions throughout that entire course, ask. You'll have the ability to do so, 100%. And it tells you right here. Simply reach out to us at info@macenterpriseconsulting.com. Ask your question, we'll get a response. And there are certain things that the team can answer, but if it gets real strategic, like when I'm saying real strategic, Exact. So Jew, that's what I would say. That be honest. For me, being honest, I believe if people get the course, go through the course, schedule your consultation. So that way when we have that strategic conversation, I'm not educating you on what a business is. I'm not educating you on the importance of the business identity. We're bypass that. Now it's basically taking what you've learned in the course. When we have that conversation, you know what we're doing? We're talking this. Oh yeah. Well, I got my feet jump underneath these desks when I can actually talk to somebody about this. But I have a lot of people that schedule consultations for the education side, which is cool. I'm always able to talk about it. But I can tell you, from me personally, just full transparency, when I can talk about this in somebody's life, oh man. And I say this, every conversation I've had, strategic, they always went over. Man, listen. It started, yeah, I just helped somebody secure an $8 million deal because they did exactly how we're talking. They were one of the people who bought the course. They had been looking at it. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. After they bought the course, they scheduled a consultation. We went through a strategic session, landed an $8 million deal. Just like that. What is the link to the website? The link is also in my bio, but I will go ahead and put it up right here. There you go. I'm gonna leave that up here for a second for people who want to know. But seriously, $500, $499, the best $499 you'll ever spend, and I guarantee it. Because why? If the ebook don't answer it, the virtual class will answer it, and I can put everything in. I can guarantee you're gonna learn something out of one of them classes. I'm just being honest. And now mind you, y'all happen to talk to somebody who dropped out of his PhD program in business, so I know what was being taught and what's not, and I can guarantee I will put everything that I'll auction my company. That's how I know that there are things in those classes that not one business school is going to teach you, because it's not designed to teach you how to be a business owner. It's designed to teach you how to be an employee. All right, so briefly go through these companies. All right, here we go. Your operating company is what you do. That's what you do on a day-to-day basis. If you sell lemonade, that's what you do. Your parent company is like your corporate office. It's your main corporate office, your main hub. The real estate investment trust, that's basically your property management company. Your holding company, it's like your safe deposit box. It holds all of your assets. Your operating company, this is what you do. So if you have I like to use the lemonade stand. If you sell lemonade on the weekends, that's what you do. That's your operating company. You sell lemonade on the weekends. If somebody want to voice a complaint, they're gonna call your corporate office. Your parent company will be your corporate office. Your corporate office has to have a building, and it rents the building from a property management company that you own. Your REIT is your property management company. And then since your operating company, your parent company, and your real estate investment trust are all assets, your holding company owns all assets. It holds all of your assets for you, so it removes you out of the picture. Your nonprofit, that's the charity that you donate money to. Nobody said that you can't own the charity. And then instead of you owning the holding company, you would allow your trust to own the holding company. You control the trust. Own nothing, control everything. Hopefully that helps. So I had somebody ask me, if I'm already a member, if I already purchased something, do I need to buy the course? Yes, it still is going to help you. Would it help with 2023? In what regards? Can you explain the $1,000 concept? I can. So for everybody who is listening, if you've never heard the $1,000 concept, say me. Type me if you've never heard it. If you've never heard me explain the $1,000 concept, say me. I'm about to show you how you can open all of these companies and make money in 12 months with all of these companies with just $1,000. I'm going to show you in a second. All right. In the world of financing, there's a term called accounts receivables. Accounts receivables is basically the balance of money due to your firm for the goods or services delivered or used but not yet paid for. In other words, if you sign a residential lease, then the person that you're paying the lease to, if your monthly payment is $1,000, the person that you're paying the lease to, their account receivables line will say $12,000. Why? Because that's money that's owed to them but that you didn't pay yet. But you will pay because you have a contract in place. So, having said that, you can have all of these companies set up on paper and they can each make money with you depositing $1,000. So if you take $1,000 and you make a cash deposit into the operating company, your operating company is going to show deposit $1,000. 1 week later, your operating company receives an email from the corporate office. You have to pay a management fee of $1,000. So your operating company just received $1,000 and now paid a bill for $1,000. How much money does your operating company have to pay in taxes? Zero. It got $1,000, paid out $1,000. But now your real estate investment trust, your parent company received $1,000. But then a week later, the parent company received an email from your property management company and say, hey, you got to pay $1,000 for your rent. Not a problem. So your parent company received that $1,000. But it also paid $1,000 out. How much taxes does the parent company pay? Zero. Now your real estate investment trust, your property management company has $1,000 deposit, receives an email from the holding company for holding the asset for $1,000. So your property management company got the $1,000 and now it paid it out. How much did it pay in taxes? Zero. And then your holding company now has $1,000 but receives an invoice from the operating company again for $1,000. The operating company charged the holding company, and I don't call it a management fee, who cares? But it went back. So you took $1,000 and that $1,000 made its way into each company. If you do that 4 times a month, each company will show $48,000 in total sales. But that $48,000 would have also been on your accounts receivables line. Whenever you go to a financial institution and you try to go get a line of credit, they can give you a line of credit for half of your accounts receivables because that's money that you know is going to come into business that you haven't received yet. And all you did was deposited $1,000 message. And all it cost you was what? Setting these companies up on paper. Come on, man. Some of us don't even realize how much financial freedom is at the tip of our fingers. We don't even know how to apply it. That's what I do. I teach people how to run business all day long. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. And I mean that. You got to start somewhere. If nothing else, and I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to sell y'all a course. I'm just saying, I don't know how else to explain. This is so much information. You could completely change your entire life by having knowledge. And that's it. I don't know what else to say. I swear when I put this together, I thought I had so many people hungry for knowledge. I swear. I thought I'd have sold out of these things. I just couldn't keep it on the shelf. Coach Kid, I'm gonna call you tomorrow to talk about it. I'm not looking at the file at the moment. I just gotta take a look at it, but I'll call you tomorrow if that's okay. We would wrap it into the legacy for the sake of the conversation. We would definitely put it into the legacy. Just where it's gonna sit, we'll just have to figure it out. So I'll call you to get some clarification on what it does, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, everybody, y'all have a wonderful Sunday. Again, if you all know anyone who's interested, just let them know that, hey, man, there's this good old guy that, he can help y'all get your business off the ground, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He has a master class going on. He can get y'all off the ground. So y'all having a wonderful Sunday. All right. Thank you.